I'm going to welcome everyone one more time to the Spring 2024 School Crisis Recovery and Renewal Network of Practice. I'm Leora, she, hers. I'm the SCRR Project Director, and I am here in the Bay Area on unceded Ohlone land. It is slightly cold, but also with a little bit of parting ways for the sun, which feels slightly metaphorical for our embrace of crisis leadership, all the weather, all the breaks in the sky, and so good to be here with you, as I said a little bit ago, with our SCRR team, Bree, Oriana, Nikki, Stephen, and our 26th inaugural SCRR Leadership Fellows. Woo, 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 woo. We are obviously very excited, at least I am. And so I just want to say again, a warm hands on heart, literal welcome to all of you who are here to be in learning and in witnessing and in cheer for these incredible humans who have taken big ideas, big questions, and big curiosities and played with them in their own context. And then we're inviting you to play with us and be in reimagination of what we can be, not only what we can do. When we think about holding the bigness of what many of us who work with young people and work with schools after experiencing rupture and hardness and overwhelmation go through. So again, big welcome. I'm going to invite you in the chat to share who you are, where you are, and one feeling or hope that you have for today. Who you are, where you are, and one feeling or hope that you have for today, including fellows and staff. If you are just joining us, again, we are here for our Spring 2024 Network of Practice. We call it the Spring Festival of Learning. And if you're new to the SCRR community, the School Crisis Recovery and Renewal Project, what you'll know is that we have 7,000 titles and 7,000 words for one thing. So this event is exactly that. We are in the Spring Festival of Learning, and we are celebrating our Leadership Capstone Project Symposium. And our essential question that we hold all together today is, what does school crisis recovery and renewal leadership look like, sound like, and feel like in real life? Yeah. Again, if you are just joining us, I'm welcoming you to share in the chat who you are, where you are, and a feeling or hope that you have for today. And we're so grateful to see folks who are here to celebrate their colleagues and here to learn with their colleagues. Beautiful. Welcome, welcome. Okay, as I said, we're so excited to be together. I want to name that out of all of the things that this project, this beautiful, wild construct of an idea of school crisis recovery and renewal project, out of all the programs and products that we do, my bias is that the networks of practice are one of my favorite, because it's a time that we center our own expertise, our own wisdom, our own questioning, and our own grappling with what it means to do the work that we do and be the humans that we are at the same time. So this is not a time necessarily for someone outside to come in and tell us what to do or give us a toolkit or give us a checklist. It's a time for us to raise and surface more questions than answers. And so that is my particular hope as project director and as witnesser, that we as leaders get a time to actually let go of a lot of the expectation to be in control and know what to do, and rather be maybe a little bit more out of control and grapple with what it means to be. So again, welcome. If you're just joining us, I'm inviting you in the chat to share who you are, where you are, and one excitement or hope that you have for our time together today. I want to name too that when I say that we're so excited to be together, it is deep excitement to be in community. And it's also an excitement knowing that many of us, if not all of us who are here, are doing crisis work, big C, big W, small c, small w. And that's not excitement. There's no excitement that there's so much harm and violence, hurt and rupture that gives us jobs to do. The excitement is actually coming from a place that we can find and remember what it means to be human while we are caring for others who are experiencing unhuman and inhuman experiences. So that is part of our work as a project, is to hold the both ands. The largeness of the suffering that so many of our young people, our students, are feeling, have felt, that our educators are feeling and have felt, that we are feeling and we have felt, to hold it together, to say, I see you, I believe you, I'm with you, and I'm committed to reimagining a world where what you have experienced and been through doesn't have to be and isn't. All right, taking a breath there. So if you are new to us, and so many of you are, we are a national center of we are part of the National Child Traumatic Stress Network, NCTSN. We are a no-cost national project. We started in 2020 with this seedling of an idea to center educator voice. And we use the word educator to describe anyone who works with or for young people. So that's clinicians, school psychologists, district leaders, anyone. To center voice and to co-construct what could be after big things happen. So our tagline, which we hope is not just a tagline, but a real call-in, is that while we believe that readiness is essential and response is critical, that what happens after matters too. And we are a partnership of those of us who work for the Center for Applied Research Solutions and Trauma Transformed. So you will see that the energy and the invitation is that we have some ideas of what this could look like, but we want to create, undo, or redo ideas of what it should or might look like altogether. Part of our day needs a little bit of tech holding, so I'm going to offer a couple pieces. The first is that I'm going to invite everyone to be muted if you are not speaking, and that if you're driving or walking, that you're off camera. Full norm and agreement that if you need to be off camera, you are. That's what we norm up as a fellowship as well. Many of you are crisis responders or principals or in the hallway or doing things. So we respect and know that how you are here is how you need to be here. I want to remind you that you can get a live transcript and auto captioning by clicking show captions at the bottom. Please use the chat if you want to celebrate someone, echo what someone said, share what resonated, give cheer. That is one of the best ways we can provide virtual structural witness. And that if anything happens today that me or Nikki or Steven feels like is not part of the plan and edges on our unsafety, we're going to close down the Zoom immediately, and then you'll get an email afterwards. The last two pieces are that today is recorded. This is unusual. We usually don't record our networks of practice because we want to center people's dialogue, but today is recorded because there are so many different rooms with so many different fellow presentations that we want to make sure that we get to where we're going. So today is recorded and the breakouts as well, which also means that if you do unmute in your breakout, that is you consenting for your voice to be recorded. Very happy for you to share in chat too if that doesn't feel comfortable for you. Okay, and then the last piece is that if you've got any tech needs, please go to the chat and go scroll down to tech host. That's actually a real human. He's our colleague Steven. He's amazing and he's going to help you get what you need. Okay, Nikki, anything I missed?
I don't believe so.
Okay, beautiful. I want to invite you to, oh, hello, there he is in the chat. I want to invite you to put your screen in gallery if you can, because there's almost 100 incredible humans on screen, which is giving me deep life and energy. Welcome if you're just joining us. Okay, so here's how today might feel, our beautifully short and packed and rich 2.5 hours together. Our day is that I'm going to provide a little bit more context into what even is school crisis recovery and renewal and what our leadership fellowship was like, so that when you move into breakouts, you have a little bit more idea of what the context is to the learning that we're offering. We're then going to have an opportunity for round one. There will be 4 breakouts in round one. I'm going to invite Nikki to drop our event page in the chat right now. Our event page under the agenda has this main deck all of the slides of all of our fellows' capstone presentations for every single breakout room and all of the handouts. So that if you're like having massive fear of missing out for one room, you are able to both access the recording eventually and the materials. And you'll also see on the event page, and we'll get there in a moment, that we've titled themes for each of the breakouts. They're not perfect themes, but who is perfect? So that you might have some idea of where you want to go. And you'll choose your own adventure, your own voice and choice. We'll then have those beautiful peer presentations. We'll get to learn with each other, celebrate each other, witness, come back for a break, do the same thing for a round two, and then come back and make meaning, celebrate, and integrate what we heard, what's resonating. If at any moment you have questions about our flow, all of our fellows and staff are ready to help you get to wherever you need to be. So please let us know in chat if we can help you. The event page and this deck is the best way to make that happen. Last reminder is that our working agreements today for how we want to show up are the trauma-informed principles, so that we can live into not only being just trauma-informed, but also healing-centered as a community. And the trauma-informed principle that I'm really going to invite us to hold is peer support, is knowing that it takes a lot of bravery to showcase learning in public. And many of our fellows are feeling a little bit nervy for sharing, not only with colleagues, but maybe family members and new folks. And this is my reminder that this is not a formal presentation. This is our SCRR living room conversation. So for all of us in community, we can just do nothing will be perfect. Some things will go to plan, some things won't, and that's exactly how it has to be. And thank you for in the chat shouting out your colleagues. Okay, last pieces. If you are new to our framework, and if you are old to our framework, if you're familiar with our framework, here's what I want to offer. What we envision at the School Crisis Recovery and Renewal Project is an expansion of the school crisis continuum of care. That we believe firmly that when big things happen, a crisis that causes disempowerment or disconnection or rupture, that can be an event or an experience and usually ongoing, that there's a lot of resources and funding and attention that happens in the big event, like lots of this. And that many of us know from either our own grief experiences, our own birth experiences, or our own school crisis leadership experiences, that when the quiet happens or the settling happens, months after or years after, ideas start to emerge, we start to metabolize, or we have space to reflect. And we believe that that is where the important work happens to then inform how we might ready and respond in the future. So our recovery and renewal, those two R's, dig into the framework of Judith Herman from her 1992-1997 book, Trauma and Recovery. That recovery is built on three pillars to first establish safety and stabilization. And one of our fellows, Clark Swan, grapples into what safety even means in her capstone presentation, to give you a little drop. But the second part, remembrance and mourning, is essential for our recovery. There are many of our fellows capstones, from Lucina, from Roberta, from Nicole, many from Canada, many of our fellows dig into this mourning concept, and then into the reintegration and meaning making with life. And what we have also sensed as a community is that there's a lot of school culture that focuses first on safety, then on reintegration, and skips over that mourning piece and that grief work piece. So you'll hear that grief work and mourning work, not only for our students, but also for ourselves, is a part of our community. And then this fourth R, which is one that we made up and we're continuing to make up, which is this idea of renewal, which is quite actually rigorous. It invites us to reimagine and also to interrogate what the root causes were that may have led to the crisis in the first place or continue to fuel the crisis. So it's an idea for us to really engage in deep critical inquiry and action. And that language is cut off at the top, but there's a tagline that both Antoine Moore and Dr. David Schoenfeld and Jen Leland, all of whom have been part of our staff, have said in the past that our work is from crisis to connection and to move from chaos to cohesion. So you'll hear in Matt and Amy and Cynthia's work and in Robert's work and Miss Beverly's work, the concept of storytelling, to put pieces back together or re-together, is a part of our renewal. Okay. All that to say, I am going to read out our definition of school crisis recovery and renewal leadership. And I invite everyone, fellows, staff, and community members to, as you're hearing words or phrases that resonate for you in this moment, to put them in the chat. We're going to kind of do what Oriana calls a chat waterfall. And if you've heard this definition multiple times, beautiful. You've never heard it in this moment for who you are on this day in this minute. Okay. So I'm going to read it out loud, and I welcome you to engage in chat waterfall. So we believe and are committed to a school crisis recovery and renewal leadership being the individual, collective, organizational, and systemic skills, knowledge, and competencies to create school conditions, climates, and cultures that empower others to navigate uncertainty and harm. This leadership is based on the awareness and the acceptance of the responsibility and accountability to help all students, staff, and partners repair, reconnect, regulate, and restore. That's our vision. So I'm going to invite you in this moment, just as Amy did, to share a word or phrase that you heard in the definition that is pulling at your heartstrings. Yeah, empower all students, staff, and partners. Empower, reconnect, empower others, repair. Repair and reconnect. Help staff as well. School conditions to repair, regulate, restore. The collective, we are not in this alone. To navigate uncertainty. Collective, yeah, navigate uncertainty. Accountability, awareness, and acceptance. And the responsibility. Yes. All, all. Navigate, that verb, navigate, right? We might have a map, just as Angelica's capstone, we might have a grief map, and we might need to go completely off the map. Yeah. Repair, that's a big element of our work, is repair. Okay, so it's with this definition, and I want to be also really clear that this definition is based on Marshall Gantz's work, who's a professor of community organizing, who studied how social justice movements over time, from farm workers to union rights, how change and interruption and transmutation of harm happens in our country. So this is an adapted definition of his study of leaders and what leaders had to hold, embody, be, release, and embrace in order to navigate this work together. This year, we launched our inaugural Leadership Fellowship. You'll see that in names online, you'll see SCRR fellows. This has been a dream of many of ours for so long, to bring together interdisciplinary school psychologists, educators, restorative justice champions, principals, administrators from all across the country, from all intersects of lived experience, from all intersections of roles, to sit in study with each other and from each other. And these two questions are what held the fellowship. What needs healing and transformation inside me in order to sustain healing in my classrooms, schools, and organizations? And what needs healing and transformation inside us to stabilize and reimagine our school's way of being? These are the questions that hold all of the capstones that you'll be hearing in a moment. They are the roots of the capstones, inside and outside. So what you'll see, and I'm going to just move into small font, but pay no attention to small font. This is just me celebrating all of our fellows who engaged in an 8-month-long almost now 8-month-long commitment to study, to hear from people, to listen with each other, to sit in text, to collaborate with each other. You'll see that there are many fellows who are doing their capstone presentations together who have never met before in the real life. And part of our invitation was, after sitting and learning, to then take an SCRR product, program, concept, thought, or question, and apply it into the context in which they work. And some of our fellows, as you'll hear, said, I actually don't want to necessarily do with others. The work I need to do is with myself. So some of the capstone presentations you'll hear are a diversity of both inside work and outside work. As we have said in our fellowship, our call in is to move from being human doers to human beers. It's our own renewal, so that we can then champion the renewal of the communities that we love and serve. Okay, so let's get to it, because that was enough of Leora. Let's get to it. Let's get to our fellows. Let's get to the breakouts. This is the question: what does school crisis recovery, renewal, and leadership look like, sound like, and feel like in real life, y'all? All right, we are about to move into peer presentations round 1. So I'm just going to take a moment. Can we start, before we even move, we start in chat or on your reactions or in your body with some celebration? Just like start it already. Start already. I can see some of you, you're not physically celebrating. I'm inviting you. Okay, beautiful. Yes. Again, it takes a lot to share in public. Some of these capstone presentations and products that our fellows are working on aren't fully done. Whatever is, whoever is. So some of them are going to be sharing their works in progress. What we're hoping to do in the breakouts is that you'll hear, you'll have a SCRR staff member hold space. You'll hear from 1, 2, 3, and then discussion. I promise you, you will feel like there's not enough time. I also promise you that there's always time for the right work. We will make the time and find the time. So in a couple minutes, we're going to open the breakout rooms, and there will be your choice. You will select which rooms you're going into. This is called organized chaos, my friends. There will be room 1, 2, 3, and 4. Room 1, if you are interested in processing educator-centered grief work, leadership, and well-being with Camden, Mariela, and Roberta, you're going to click on room 1. If you are interested in hearing about co-constructing safety, grief, and wellness with youth, educators, and clinicians, you're going to click on room 2 with Clark, Samira, and Sheetal. If you are interested in seeing how people took our idea of creating the container after student death, life after loss, into their own communities, you're going to go into room 3 with Angelica, Lauren, and Lucina. And if you are interested in hearing interviews and external interviews and internal grapplings with what it means to be a school crisis leader and lead renewal, you're going to come into room 4 with me and Amy, Cynthia, Matt, and Robert. Okay, I'm going to ask Nikki and Stephen to drop our main event page back in the chat, because if you go to our main page, this slide is there, as well as all the other slides. I'm going to invite us to just have a breath moment, to just move our shoulders up to our ears, shoulders back, shoulders down, do a little shakeout.